everybody, Yankee here. I'm sure a lot of you have been following the tragic events of where a U.S. airman was shot and killed in the doorway of his apartment building recently by police officers in Florida. And up until now, I have not been weighing in on it. I've been asked about it by several people. It seems like every night in the live chat, 2 or 3 people ask me, have you watched the video yet? Have you watched the video yet? And I had not. So I didn't weigh in. I also didn't weigh in because, this seemed like another instance that is not uncommon in this country where police do something bad and then people square off on whichever side they've already predetermined that they're on, and nothing really gets accomplished. So I didn't really see a point in weighing in on it, especially since I didn't know much about it. That's a good reason not to weigh in, period. But since so many people have asked me, I did look into it. And I actually looked into it more because I was irritated by a video by a well-known bootlicker online, this Officer Tatum, I do believe his name is. I like to call him Officer Tater because he's about as smart as your average baked potato. And he is a world-class bootlicker. He is a profiteering, evangelistic type of bootlicker. He's basically a TV evangelist for bootlickers, except he works on the internet mostly. And I saw his video and I'm like, God, is this guy ever right about anything? So I thought I would look into it and I would weigh in here. And I want to answer a couple of questions. First off, was this police officer justified in what he did? Or was he completely wrong all the way through? We'll address that. And I also want to address where some people think race played a part, and they want to know what I think. Do I think race played a factor in this? And we'll answer those questions here really quickly. First off, do I think this police officer was right in the way he behaved? No. Now, a lot of people say, oh, he went to the wrong address. He went to the wrong address. He just showed up at an innocent person's house and started shooting. Well, that's not really what happened, to be honest. What happened was he was responding to a disturbance in progress call. And he was actually directed to that door by a third party who was a fourth party in the actual event, who supposedly said, oh, I don't know exactly where it's coming from, but I think it's here. So that's basically all the information he had. He didn't have an actual address or an actual name. I don't think the person that supposedly called was someone supposedly involved in the event. I think it was a third party or a fourth party even that called. So that person led them, or a person led them to the actual door he was at. So the whole thing about he just showed up randomly at the wrong address, that's not right. So I want to get that cleared up right off the bat. He was led there by a do-gooder in the apartment complex. And to me, that had red flags all over it. First off, when he got there, if he's a good police officer, the first thing he should have said is, this is supposed to be a disturbance in progress. This is completely silent. In the video, you can hear the birds chirping. It's very quiet. There's clearly no disturbance in progress. So there was no need for that type of reaction from the police officer. It wasn't like he had to go into defensive, life-saving mode right off the bat because none of the stuff there on the scene added up to that. He's being led to a door that no one called from that residence. And this person's already said, you can hear him on tape saying, I'm not sure where it comes from. And they even have that on the record that they said, I'm not sure where the sound was coming from. So he already knows this is just a possible incident. But then he proceeds to knock on the door and then step out of the way of the peephole. Not how you should have handled that right there. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, but he's trying to save his own life. He didn't want to go home in a body bag that night. Well, being a police comes with some risk. And the risk of you being shot through a door over a domestic call that was made by a neighbor, not very high. But the chances of you causing an incident by doing something like banging on someone's door and then hiding, that's way higher. So that's bad decision making right there. And that's kind of bad decision making the cops shouldn't be making. And then he waits 30 seconds and he beats on the door more aggressively and then steps out of the way of the peephole. Once again. Then he bangs again aggressively and says, Sheriff's Department, open up. And then steps out of the way of the peephole. Once again, people can say, oh, he's just protecting himself. Police officers don't get to put your safety at risk to protect theirs. It's their job to take some risk. And in this situation, he was doing the exact opposite. He was pushing all the risk off on the person that lived in that apartment, even though he had no real reason to believe he was in danger. Nothing of this situation said, "You're in immediate danger." None of it. And it turned out he was at the wrong apartment. This was not anyone that was having any domestic disturbance. In fact, the person was on a Zoom call at the time with someone, so there was a witness. They said that he heard the knock on the door. He went and looked through the peephole. No one was there, so he didn't open the door, which jives with the video. And then 30 seconds later, there was a louder knock. He went to the peephole. No one could be seen. So then he was scared. So he went and retrieved a gun that he legally owned, and then another big bang on the door. He goes to answer the door. And the police officer, in the video, you can hear him saying, "Sheriff's Department, open the door." But he said it about the level I'm saying it right now. I doubt the guy heard it. So he goes back again to open the door. He's got his gun in his hand. Down at his side, the police officer immediately fires multiple times. I mean, he immediately says, "Step out." And the guy can't even see him yet because he's still kind of hidden to the side. And then as soon as he comes around the corner and faces the guy, bam! He plays assassin Jack in the Box. He jumps around the door frame, blam, 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 blam. That's not good police work. That's not proper procedure. None of this was right from beginning to end. Now, I don't blame him for being at the wrong door. That's on the head of a person who led him there. But the way he behaved from the time he got there till the time he shot the man, completely wrong. And completely what's wrong with policing, period. Police these days want to take no risk. They want to get high pay, benefits, etc., unlimited authority, no accountability, and they don't want to take any risk, period. Well, that's why you're getting that high pay, because you're supposed to be able to assess these situations and act appropriately. He did not assess this situation properly. He did not act appropriately. So he's in the wrong. Now, did he willfully murder someone? No, I don't think so. I think he's just a bad cop. I don't think he was a bad guy going out looking to murder a black man especially. But he did everything wrong. And I do believe he should be held accountable for that, because he made every bad decision. This is a perfect example of what's wrong with policing today, and this police officer should be held accountable. And not only he, but the people who trained him to behave this way, if he was trained to behave this way. And with what we've seen of recent police training videos, etc., we can believe that he was. So he needs to pay the price for what he did, and the people that promote this type of behavior need to find other jobs. So that's how I feel about what actually happened. It's not a case of an assassin gone crazy looking to kill someone. No, it's just a bad cop acting on bad information, being bad at assessing situations, and overreacting to circumstances. And he should pay the price for that. Now, as far as did race play a part? Well, as of right now, they're like, we're not releasing the race of the officer or the, whatever. Well, it's clearly a white guy. You can see his white tattooed wrist when you see the body camera. He's a white guy with tattoos on his arm. So he's obviously a white deputy. So I don't think that's in any question. But that doesn't mean race played a part. Right now, I think adding race to this is kind of making it into something it isn't, when what it is already bad enough and should be being dealt with. And I think by making it something about race, you're making people take sides quicker. They're going to go to their predetermined side even faster when you try to say it's all about race, when it really should just be about bad policing. Now, I'm not saying race didn't play a part, because when that door opened, he didn't just see a man answer the door with a gun. He saw a black man answer the door with a gun. So it could have been part of that. He could have had bad situations in the past, bad circumstances in the past. Nowadays you also hear a lot about the training leans towards how dangerous the black man is, especially an armed black man. So I'm not saying race didn't play a part. It very easily could have. I'm just saying I don't want to play the game of getting in his mindset. He might have been the most non-racist man in the world for all I know, and was just a bad cop. That's the part that's not at question. He's a bad cop because he couldn't do his job properly. The racist thing, that's all speculation. And I don't think this case needs speculation. Also, to the people who say, well, once that guy opened the door with a gun, he forfeit his life. Really? If someone was harassing you, banging on your door. You look through your peephole, they're hiding, and you're in a dangerous situation now and you retrieve a firearm, you think that forfeits your life? I think you should really reevaluate that position, because we have a third party who was actually a witness that shows knock on the door, no one there. Loud knock on the door, no one there. Third knock on the door, he's got his gun for defense. As soon as he opens the door, he's executed. And I do use the word executed there liberally, but I think I use it practically also in this situation. So that's what I think happened. And like I said, don't know if Race played a gun. But by the way, the people who say that he sacrificed his life as soon as he picked up that gun and opened the door, the law states, already well established in the courts, that the presence of a firearm is not justification for deadly force. Police can't shoot someone just because they have a gun. This guy, when he opened the door, look at the picture. Gun at his side, no finger on the trigger, legally owned gun, and the cop didn't say a word. He just started firing instantly. So, bad cop, bad decision making, not qualified to do the job he's doing. And this is just a case of a cop that doesn't know how to do his job, causing a nothing situation to become a terrible tragedy. That's the real story here. And like I said, the people like Officer Tater that like to support these types of cops, they are the worst type of authoritarian bootlickers that I've ever seen. And they make me sick to my stomach to know there's people out there like that call themselves conservative. Because they're not conservative, they're fascists. And they support the fascist state. And I will not be someone that does that. And I know that hurts me in the gun community, because I know there's so many bootlickers in the gun community that just worship law enforcement. There's so many wannabes in the online gun community. So I know I will get some feedback, kickback on this opinion and this position. But yeah, I think it's the right position, because like I said, too many bad cops doing too many bad things, and too many people willing to excuse them, especially if it makes them popular in the gun community and makes them a profit.